Can I tell you something else? When we get back, I'm going to take my money and I'm going to buy you a bathtub.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Your final bros are here. It's Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane Glotch Smith. And we are reviewing a controversial film in our friend group.
Let's go!
With Mikey Bratwurst Benanti as the guest star.
I'm going to pick a side.
So
I should have had him sit in the middle. Missed opportunity.
So should we lay the foundation of Ghost Ship?
100%. Lay it for us.
Okay, I'll start. You start at me, and then I'll start. So, Ghost Ship was a movie that we've watched in our past. We've watched it together in one of our movie lists, and essentially the idea is me and Shane were like, "Oh, we both seen Ghost Ship," and I was like, "I hate it," and Shane's like, "I love it" at the same time. So that's what happened. So my frame point was like, I don't like this movie. Shane's like, oh no, very much. I do like this movie. And Mike is on because he's just like, you know what? I'm going to play like the balance role of assessing it for himself and then deciding which side he's going to be on at the end of this. So that's where we are. Matt, have you ever seen this movie and remember it?
I haven't seen this in a very long time.
Can you give a take or no?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike would be the decider.
Yep, that's why I'm here.
Okay. So let's just start off by saying this movie kind of has everything you want in a horror movie. It has a boat. It has Gabriel Byrne. It has Karl Urban. And it has blood.
Okay. I'll start there. Who wants to watch a movie with Karl Urban?
I do.
I do too.
Who cares about the stupid effects on this ghost ship?
I do.
The opening kill shot.
So this opening kill was a lot more impactful when I was 12 and watched this for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel, but
Okay. I'm going to say this. I love it still, but I don't understand the science behind everyone getting cut in half, but the guy getting cut only by his face, despite him not being on a higher platform.
Yeah, like
or lower platform.
The height disparity is kind of wild. I still feel like Emily Browning would have probably gotten killed by this.
So where they came across, it came across literally everybody's stomach. It not only would have gotten her probably in the neck, but it definitely wouldn't have gotten the captain in the face.
Yeah, I was trying to see, like, were they like in like Death's Valley where they were down lower, or like?
Well, I like the one guy too, where his clothes fall off and then he falls apart. But then, like, they show another guy who is literally dealing with the same problem, except his clothes don't fall off. It doesn't fall apart.
A lot of people regard this as like one of the sickest openings to a movie.
It's a great open.
It's not a bad
But yeah,
idea.
they're actually on a raised platform. So wouldn't she have died and he have gotten killed lower?
Right. Yes. Right.
I love the tilt though.
Yeah,
they're like, yo, this was the money shot because they show it like 17 times in this movie.
That's the captain holding her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so when they released that wire to go across, though, I was trying to figure out what exactly it was that would have made it shoot all the way across the ship. Mm-hmm. Like it was across one side of the ship, and then when they released it, it shot to the other side of the ship.
Oh, and it makes no sense. And I think that when they try to make it make sense at the end of the movie, it still makes absolutely zero sense.
Yeah.
How that winch hits across, I couldn't tell you. I can tell you Julianne Margulies is a wild child.
Yeah. All right. So we hit our opening. We're going to get really deep.
Spooky pit.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to steal your thunder. I
Let him do his thing. He's done this a few times.
I thought he was going right into it.
No. That's right. I was circling back.
Gotcha.
Before we get really into the meat, potatoes, and maggots of this movie.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
right.
first jump into what I like to call the spooky pit.
That's what it is. Ghost Ship was released in 2002. It's directed by Stephen Beck, the same guy who directed 13 Ghosts, another movie I just absolutely love. This film stars Juliana Margulies as Epps, Gabriel Byrne as Murphy, Ron Eldard as Dodge, you know him from Mystery Alaska, Desmond Harrington as Ferryman, you know him from Dexter Wrong Turn, Isaiah Washington as Greer, Alex Dimitriades as Santos, Karl Urban as Munder, and Emily Browning as Katie. So it does have a strong cast of characters. A lot of famous actors in this one for this salvage crew. Yeah, we'll start right up again. So the movie has a crazy opening where everybody's on this boat and there's a winch that just gets hit, flies across, and slices everybody on board right in half.
Yeah.
In weird slow motion, they all kind of fall apart. Like Mike mentioned, there's one scene where a guy in a tux, his pants fall off, and then his body parts falls to the ground.
It's physics. That makes sense.
One guy gets hit and his face falls off. So, like, the disparity of how the winch hit everybody is just a question mark.
Yeah. But we already discussed that. So let's talk about crews and tugboats. Let's talk about going down lines and welding. Because you're a big we've said this for years. Mike looks like he loves women who work with heavy machinery and weld.
100%.
So what do you think of Aniana Goulis or whatever her name is? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And doing her underwater welding.
Oh, she's welding like a champ.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it doesn't turn me on a little bit.
You're big on the underwater
Yeah.
welding?
Mm-hmm. I knew it.
That's
I always
fair.
Knew it.
Yeah, of
We knew it
course.
for years.
I love a woman who can weld.
They're a salvage crew, and
Yeah.
they're a tight-knit group, for sure. The thing is, like, she's a little bit of a wild child. She'll go in, and she has a good relationship with Murphy, the leader of the crew, who's Gabriel Byrne, who's trying to pull her out. She won't go out. Karl Urban comes in, best welder in the business, and then he welds it up.
Yep. No, I'm a big fan of Karl Urban in this movie. I think he does a great job as Munder. I think he's like one of the highlights, if I'm being honest.
He was also the inspiration for why you had a ponytail in high school.
That's true.
It's true. Then you got like Santos. He's a mechanic. That's his character. They do a good job though of giving most of these guys some personality. You got Greer. He's the first mate.
He's the first mate.
He's great.
Which one's that?
It's the first mate.
Yeah.
It's Greer. He's the one who falls in love with Francesca.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Can you describe his character in a different way?
He's like the.
He's Idris Elba from Wish.
Okay.
I was gonna say he's more of the calculated guy where he wants to do things by the book.
Oh.
Whereas they're just like, let's go by feel.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause he
like,
always wants to call the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
yeah,
it's
he's
safe.
calculated. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be safe in this business.
So question to everyone here. You're sitting, you're about to be done with your job. You've been on the water for 6 months. You're ready to go home. Joey freaking Quinn from Dexter shows up and he's like, I got this derelict ship in the middle of the ocean I found while flying my helicopter. You guys want to check it out? You going?
I'm going.
It is an interesting proposal. Needs to be heard out. I'm only going if he's taking 10%.
Right.
Like, this guy's trying to shove 20 down my throat. Not happening.
See, I can't help myself. I'm a curious boy. I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to see. I need to adventure.
What if this guy looks super shady and then comes up to you and says, hi, my name is Ferryman? No first name.
Now I'm curious.
Just refer to me as Ferryman.
Ferryman, yeah.
I'm in.
You're more in.
Yeah. Well, I'm a curious boy. I tell you this.
Yeah. Well, they're curious too because they're going to go. And then he has one more rule. You have to take me.
Yeah, he's got to go on the ship. And he's not, Gabriel Byrne's not about that. Murphy's just like, nah, not going to happen. He goes, nope, no deal. Got to go on the boat. I'm the ferryman.
It's literally kind of how he says it. It's like a ferryman needs to be on his boat. I just can't wait till we get to the end. When he gives his motive.
What happens at
No,
the end?
no, thank you. How this becomes a corporate movie out of nowhere. I can't do it.
I fucking love it.
Of course you do.
He's like, management won't be happy.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
He's like, I got stocks, bonds, dividends.
This movie portrays soul taking as equity. Like, it's fucking crazy.
It is.
It's so ridiculous.
It's incredible. So they're on their boat. They're listening to Mudvayne. And
I was enjoying that, actually.
I fall, not calling.
Santos apparently loves fucking Mudvayne.
He does. He's probably me and him, and maybe you now.
Yeah.
People that liked Mudvayne. That's why they made an album and a half. So they're gonna keep going. They get to the ship. What is the name of the ship, Mike? This is why you're here. You give us names.
It's a Spanish name, I think, or an Italian name. I couldn't tell.
It's definitely Italian because they were singing in Italian.
Oh, the Esmeralda.
No, it's probably the Gabagool.
Oh, the
That's
government.
just racist, actually.
No, it's not racist. I can say it
It's got
because I'm
two
Italian.
names, like the Grand Marzano.
Yeah.
No, something.
You
like
got that gabagool in your hand.
That's racist.
How is that racist?
Total bullshit or what on the ferryman getting seasick?
He's playing it up to the crowd. The crowd.
Paying
right?
the crowd?
Yeah, because like he's the ferryman. Like his literal job is to ride a boat into the dark web.
So like this movie does flirt with like a decent ghost story when they find the ship. Like
Yeah.
it's like decent and intriguing and kind of reminds me of playing Resident Evil Biohazard in certain ways.
Yeah, a little bit, except the rules don't stay consistent of the ghosts.
I well, totally agreed.
Yeah.
Including at the end.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah.
Wait, whoa! The ghosts they're on the ship and they do their ghosty thing.
Yeah, we'll get there, Shane. Let's get on the ship.
Well, okay, they're gonna get to the ship by slamming directly into it.
I don't even think they have like their like knots and like I think they're tracking and then they just run into it and it almost fucking kills Dodge.
Yeah.
Like Dodge, because they have to like anchor and like he gets flipped overboard.
Well, because at first he had to dodge the ship because
Nice.
it was gonna crush him.
Nice.
No, that's a good one. You liked it. You liked it. Why do we? He's being rude, Brian.
Yeah.
Just like rude guests on here.
The irony was I was actually thinking the same thing while watching this last night at 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, he just dodged that shit. I never
That was
thought
a good one, Brian.
I never would have brought it up in the podcast because I'm not a loser, but you know.
Oh, this is just rude and not fair. But yeah, so they then get onto the ship, and I think it's Julia Roana Hogalis. She's the first one who sees like the ghost on top.
Shane, give me your best ship.
Ship.
Yeah.
It was like a
Not bad.
That was
No.
that was like a snake.
no,
like a
it's-
slippery
no,
snake.
the ship because like I guess like I'm working with the waves here, right? Like
It looks.
this is my ship point because every ship has a point that's it's a nautical term. So you have your
Ship
ship
point.
point, and then you have the wave trender where you go above and under waves, and that's a ship, right? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I haven't even been drinking. I've just been hydrating with water.
It's because your hair is haywire today. That's why you're a little off the rails.
Let's talk about your hair. How'd this happen?
Okay, so I got in the shower, and then I realized it was really cold and wet outside, so I put a hood on when I went outside. But then I did that thing where I got lazy and didn't take it off, so I drove here with the hood on.
Yeah.
So my hair dried into this.
And then you slammed your tugboat into the side of a ship. Yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about this ocean liner they
Yes.
discover. This, and he'll say it. He will be the one to say it, which is ironic. That ferryman. He says it's a ghost ship.
Yeah. So see, this movie does a
There it is,
really
Antonio
good.
Grazza.
Yeah, the Antonio Gazza.
That's
This
racist.
How is that racist? I said it right. Because if I said it Antonio Grazza, you'd be like, oh, you're saying it in the white way or something, right? Like, isn't that what people do?
That's not racist.
Okay. Anyway, I'm going to say this movie does a good job of, like, really subtly hinting that Ferryman isn't, like, all he seems to be by being like, this is a ghost ship, or, like, my name's Ferryman. It's all these little shady things this movie does so well of, like, putting out.
Yeah. Also, the fact that every character questions why he's bringing them on this ship. There's also that.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So they're gonna just like look at the ship and like see what it's about.
I just realized it actually went missing on your birthday,
did it.
21st of May.
Oh, son of a bitch! Look
Yeah.
at that.
I know. All the worst things happened that day, apparently.
No.
And
I'm
it
glad
went-
the ship went missing.
It went missing in what, 62? 1962?
62, which is also your birthday, I think.
It is. Yeah. 1962. What a year. So they're gonna like start to see different things on the ship they don't like you know, bullet holes in the pool.
Yeah.
They're gonna find a Rolex on the captain's quarters, which makes them realize someone else has been here because they didn't have Rolexes or digital watches.
It's digital.
It's a
It's
digital
digital,
watch.
yeah.
They didn't have a digital watch back when the ship, the Antonio Banderas, disappeared.
When did this movie come out?
2002.
That's what I thought.
Also, when they go, I know she goes below ship. She sees bodies. Didn't they identify the bodies being there like 3 weeks ago or some shit?
Yeah.
She's like, this decay is that of 3 weeks. I know. I'm a tugboat captain.
She's like, I'm an ME. I can tell.
She's like, I know I can weld.
oh my god.
So like right off the bat, I questioned how they got up on the ship because like they just have a really tall
Crane.
Yeah, well, that because they tug boats. Like you got to have a crane.
I guess. They have a lift that holds everybody. They get them up on the
You're
ship.
Salvager. I just don't know how the last person gets up there.
Right.
Well, no. Doesn't Santos never goes on the ship?
No, he's too busy fixing the engine.
So Santos
Oh, that's
is always
right.
the one controlling it. Oh, I love defending Ghost Ship.
Well, the whole
Did they have? Okay, you.
No, I was gonna say the first half of this movie is just on and off the movie because they just get on the ship and then off the ship and then on the ship and then off the ship.
Yeah, but that's really building up the suspense of like
The last time they get on the ship,
are they going to get this ship
Off the
back,
ship.
or is this ship going to consume them?
Here's the first red flag. There's no life preservers or lifeboats on the ship.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
and we've seen Titanic, so we know those do exist in this time frame.
Well, I mean, the Titanic took place in 1912.
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. So my point is, this boat should have them.
Yeah.
So why doesn't it? It's because they've been ferried away.
Potentially. Potentially.
Mike's making this face at me, right? That I don't know if he has to poop.
I literally cannot wait to explain the plot of this movie and the
I
motivation.
can't wait
for
to
the
tell you if I
character.
like it or not.
I'm gonna say you.
You
Don't.
can't guess.
No, I'm gonna say he does.
You have no idea.
I wish Mike G was here because I know Mike G would love this movie.
yeah, he would like this movie.
So, Greer instantly falls in love with the cardboard cutout of Francesca.
And rightfully
Well,
so.
I think what this movie tries to do, and it doesn't do a good job of it at all, but I'll explain it.
Okay.
I think he tries to play on people's weaknesses. So he's clearly not faithful to his wife at
No,
all.
he's definitely
He sees
not.
a picture of Francesca, falls in love with her, starts hearing her voice, and then will follow her to an elevator shaft.
Right,
Yeah.
but she's kind of like what's it called when they sing siren.
Yeah,
She's
in a
kind of
way.
like she's calling to him through the song.
In
and
a way.
he's like loving it, and he's like drawn to it.
He's just like down, down, down by the river. I just assumed that would be a siren song.
That's racist.
And then this guy starts seeing the captain, so he starts chumming it up with the captain.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They start seeing ghosts pretty early.
Everyone
on.
sees a different ghost. It hits things differently, and she starts seeing Katie.
Katie, yes. Right. Katie is the ghost. Played by Emily Browning, who was not famous at this time yet.
No.
She blew up afterwards.
So this is the point though where when she first sees Katie,
Yes.
where I'm instantly questioning wait a second, what happened to her because she was the only one who did survive,
Correct.
right? And at that point you kind of see only the top half of the ship with the wire.
Yeah.
And everybody killed on the top deck.
They also first she first witnesses, I think, her when Muster falls down
Yes.
a piece of wood and she just sees the ghost randomly there.
That's right. That's right. So they do a good job of leaving you guessing what happened to Katie? What happened to the rest of the people on this ship?
Right.
What is going on?
Well, they do. What I would say to just share my point is the investment into the ghost story for some of them are interesting. Some of them I could care less. I don't care about Greer in the Francesca storyline.
Yeah, you can take it or leave it.
It's super unnecessary.
I think the only thing
I like the captain talking to Murphy.
I like that. I think what that Greer thing tried to do is just to discuss his very irrelevant storyline that doesn't really matter. It just leads to him dying. The storyline and bringing it in for him and his girl just shows up what a piece of shit he is, but he even says it's not cheating if I fuck a ghost, right?
He does say pretty much like that.
But they all interact with a separate ghost
An
kind
entity,
of.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of but that's where it kind of confuses me a little bit though, because the rules start getting a little blurred.
I mean,
these ghosts.
Well, what's weird is Dodge and Munder actually I don't think ever see a ghost.
No, they don't. Yeah.
No.
So in theory, they were just not important enough to see a ghost, I guess, because they were kind of minorish characters.
Right.
I feel like Dodge was kind of important.
He was,
But-
and
Is
that's
Dodge the blonde one?
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And Munder's the Karl Urban one.
I feel like I'm not doing this right because I don't remember anybody's names at this point.
Oh, you're basically Mike G.
Yeah.
or most people we have on this podcast.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of names.
At least you watched it.
I usually try.
Nice.
So they're just exploring the ship. They're trying to find anything worth salvaging.
Yeah.
Which really is just ghosts.
Until
Salvage
they
the ghost.
realize as they go deeper, they find gold.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a 58 Jaguar.
They do find
They
that
do
first.
yeah.
But then they find
Well,
gold.
they also lost everybody, and they're like, we have to find them. And then Ferryman,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Was like, oh my God, I love this car. And she's like, we have to go. And he's like, yeah, but the car.
He's like, "Well, let's keep talking about the car."
Yeah. Well, so he's playing around. We kind of know that a little bit at this point. But how you getting a car off the boat? You can drive it? It's not a water car, Shane.
I don't know.
Is that some kind of subterranean vehicle?
So, okay, this is actually one thing that confuses me. So we got to talk about it. And it's going to spoil the ending, but we actually have to talk about it. So ferryman, if you guys listening didn't realize, is an anagram for ferryman, but not scrambled. It's just
So it's pretty point.
Yeah.
It's on point.
Yeah, he's just the ferryman to hell, essentially, if you know the lore of the ferryman. My question, though, is his whole thing is he's bringing souls. We'll get deeper into that later, but is the gold tied to the souls?
No.
Because he makes it that they needed to find the gold and decide on the gold, or is the boat
No.
more important?
No,
But
I think the gold is just the
Motivation.
It's the motivation.
It's
yeah.
literally. I was waiting. I'm like, is this gold going to tie into the ghost story? And it never does. It's just the motivation to get the humans onto the ship and then keep their souls there, so he can make his big soul payday and ferry those souls. He can only do the marked souls to hell. So basically, we'll get into it, but only sinful people are considered marked souls. So that's why I think like all these ghosts are making them do like this sinful stuff.
Right.
Well, 'cause
so
I think-
it's like the gold makes people betray each other
Yes.
to have that sin.
Yes.
The gold
Yes,
is
agreed.
the gold is like the final latch, because I think they say it at some point or allude to it. It's that there's something on each boat that keeps you there. And for Greer, it's like the idea of cheating, or like the other guys, or it was the gold, or like what, I don't know her name anymore.
Julianne Margulis.
Yeah. Like her motivation pretty much is trying to figure out what's happened to
Katie.
But that's why she relates to Katie though, because I don't think she has a She wants to get off the ship.
Yeah. But that's why they have a hard time with her at the end, because everybody else had a motivation to stay on the ship, or at least be there longer, and she was just there for curiosity.
But if you aren't marked, why do you have to stay on the ship? I guess.
If you
Are you just trapped until he actually can bring the marked souls back? That's essentially
he has to fill the ship.
Yeah.
He has to literally. This is the logic of the movie. He has to fill the ship's quota, or else management's not
Which also
gonna
is
be
something that they don't explain, because if you go by the quota,
so
what happened to literally everybody on the ship originally?
Well, no,
They said there was 500 people on the ship.
Yes, but
what's
not,
the quota?
Not all of them are probably sinful, so he can't take all of them.
Right. Which also kind of leads me to later on when we find out how Katie died.
Right. That's true, but like that's what, because at the very end of the movie we see them transporting the gold onto another ship, so that's why I'm assuming the gold is always that, like,
it's the motivation.
The motivator.
It's the 100% the motivation.
to make people sin.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
if there's one thing we know, right, the ferryman, he has a corporate management team, and he has to appease his corporate by bringing them the quota of souls. And if management is happy, that's good for him, because he can get a pay raise. Essentially is what he's saying,
Which
right?
is just another box of gold.
Guess so. Is that the same? Was that the same gold?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
always the same gold.
Yeah, because later on, when they find out actually who is the problem, really,
Yeah.
they actually say, like, oh, on the original ship that they saved,
It was
there
ferryman.
there was only one survivor, and it was ferryman. And then they showed the gold being brought over from that other ship.
So that's where the gold just goes from ship to ship. Also, okay, so we're just everywhere at this point, so who fucking cares? The very end of the movie, when when it's just Epps alive and she's in the ambulance and they're bringing the gold now into a different ship and she sees ferryman there, was that supposed to be in front? That was her crew also bringing the gold on the ship.
That was her crew?
Or
No,
they
I think it was
cast it literally to the race paramedics to resemble her crew. I swear to God, we'll watch
I
it
don't
at
remember
the
the
end.
paramedics, but
No, because it's just people bringing the gold onto the new ship with ferrymen at the end. But there was one black guy, there was a short Spanish guy, there was a Gabriel Byrne guy. I swear, I fucking swear to God,
we're gonna have to check that
if
out.
they
We're
did
gonna have to
not
fact check
cast
that.
her crew to be those people, they casted doppelgangers.
But
we have to
You know,
fact
do you know what I'm
check
saying
that.
though? Do you think it? I mean, I'm assuming it's the same gold.
Yes.
That
Me
they
too.
just,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
after the ship blew up, he found the gold.
Yeah.
and
because it was the same situation as the first ship.
yeah.
So they
the
saved,
the Lorelei to the
yep.
to the San Marzano to the
Yeah, to the San Bernardino, which will be the next
Right.
ship they go on.
Right.
See, this is what I love about this movie, though. Like, you want to study the lore and figure it out.
I thought you were saying this movie is so crazy that you could talk about it in any order and it still doesn't make sense.
That's not.
Well, that's
That's
what I'm
not
saying.
fair.
I'm trying to rationalize it, and for me, it's just like there are some good pieces to this movie.
Yeah.
I just think the culmination of what the ferryman is doing is just a little batshit.
It's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. Okay, so they have the gold. They're going to take the gold. So what they're going to do is put the gold onto the tugboat, and they're going to leave on the tugboat. But the tugboat, they have to get it started up. The bad news is Santos in Greer and Dodge are on that. That shit's going to blow up. It's going to kill Santos.
The ghosts, I guess,
Sabotage the ship. Emily Browning's ghost was running to warn them, but she gets tackled by a fucking demon.
Yep.
Shadow.
Oh, and Santos gets lit on fire by the engine and immediately falls into the water and dies somehow.
Okay, so that was another thing I was questioning because he's clearly under the ship. It blows up, but then he's on top of the deck of the ship and jumps off into the water.
So everybody's in the water except for Juliana Margulies.
Yeah.
And she jumps off the boat into the water to save them. They have no tugboat. They have no lift. How the hell do they get back on the boat?
I think they throw a fucking buoy.
Who?
I don't know. Fucking Gabriel Byrne was actually on the ship with Julia.
He was still there?
Epps, I mean, yeah. So the only people actually on the tugboat were Munder, Dodge, Santos, and Greer. So that means Ferryman, Epps, and Murphy were still up on top.
Okay.
So but they save everyone except Santos, who burns at the bottom.
And they find out now the only way to get back to shore is to weld the bottom of the boat, which has a hole in it, and try and sail it back to...
By dodging the rocks, because they're
Right.
currently going into the rocks, so they need to get enough water out to drift to a different current to avoid the rocks.
And if they hit the rocks,
was it,
the
like,
boat will inevitably sink.
But they give him like a 3-day timeline. or
3
something?
days,
3 days.
yes. And Munder's like, I can't do that. And Epps is like, you're the best welder I've ever seen. You're going to be Billy the Butcher in like 20 years.
Yeah. But so they start seeing the ghosts more, and now that they're stuck on the ship, they're kind of like, I don't know, interacting with them because
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
have to.
more so.
But
Yeah.
this is the thing, and this movie does from this moment pick up rapidly, where like Greer is going to try to get seduced by Francesca, and he's going to like go to hug her, and he's going to flip off and fall onto the elevator shaft and die.
This is the first instance where we find out that the ghosts can't touch anything in the physical world,
Yes.
right? So now, can I skip to when
You could skip to anything.
All right, so when
I talked
Epps-
about the end of the movie already.
when Epps starts exploring, and she finally, like, Katie finally brings her to her room, and you see her hanging.
yeah.
So that's where another one you question. But when Epps takes the locket off of Katie's corpse, she's like, why didn't you open it? And Katie's like, I can't touch it.
Yes.
Right? So then when you see the captain of the tugboat talking to the captain of the ship, he hands him an actual picture and grabs a glass of whatever whiskey and hands it to him too. So now he can touch stuff in the physical world, but the other two can't?
Well, okay, so now hear me out.
Yep.
There's this thing called
Kissing Greer.
Right.
No. They're, like when you're the captain, right? You can like you have these like nautical powers.
Okay.
So like
So you
you're
do this.
you're able to touch like a hard liquor because no matter where you are as a captain, you have access to hard liquor
And rum.
So, yes, even if you're dead. So it's like Davy Jones' locker.
Okay.
So like once you die, you enter Davy Jones' locker as a captain only. Like this doesn't count for non-captains. So you're still able to touch stuff due to the abilities of the locker.
Okay. All right.
Buying in.
See?
I don't know what you said to me anymore, so
I just mentioned a lot of things from the Pirates of the Caribbean and hope you bought in.
I'm out.
I do think like what's interesting, like, you know, like he has interactions with the
Yeah.
cabin. He starts like feuding with the dead Santos ghost who comes back on the ship. And then all of a sudden, like, this is the scene where he thinks it's like Epps. He sees Epps,
Yeah.
but he sees Santos in him.
Yeah.
And like he's fighting Epps right now. And then they're eventually going to discover that he's fighting Epps, and they throw him in the tank.
Yes.
Or what do they call it? The aquarium?
Aquarium.
Yeah.
Which obviously it just leads to him being drowned alive. Like, and he's dead. So now we're down to just Munder, Dodge, Ferryman, and Epps.
Right. And I think they found a way to get him to stay in there because this is right after he finds the picture.
Yes. And
Of who was actually saved from the other ship.
So this is when it all leads up to Epps finding that Murphy has been drowned, and she sees the floating picture of ferrymen being rescued by the old ship. So she knows nothing here is good.
Yeah. She knows it's a little...
And now let's get to it because I know Brian's been wanting to talk about this.
This is like the reveal is that like the picture that she knows that he was on the Lorelei originally, so he knows that he's a part of like he's a ghost.
Yeah.
It's just like what's interesting for me is when she realized like that he originally was involved. She like runs over to the aquarium. Like, how would she know that Murphy's dying in that moment?
I think she just finally like realizes that there's something wrong and that
Something's up, and she's worried that he's in the
Because
aquarium.
she finds Greer's dead body first.
Right.
So she wants to check on Murphy.
right.
Yeah, she checks someone like immediately. She's
Especially
like,
because
Murphy.
the only person watching him is
Ferryman.
Yeah.
And so Munder is like working on the welding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to Dodge and she's like,
Do not leave. Ferryman's sight.
watch Ferryman. She gives him the shotgun. She's like, don't let him leave his sight. She goes to check on Munder. Munder, actually a really cool death, got pulled in by the gears and gets fucking shredded.
Yeah, he gets annihilated by that. Grinded up.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really bad way to go.
Also underwater. Yeah, no,
And
not fun.
it all seems like Ferryman wants them to all die.
Yes.
But he really doesn't until the ship is fixed.
Yes.
Because he does want the ship welded. He just wants one person to do it and then kill them off.
Yes,
too.
because once the ship is fixed and the ship survives,
Yep.
he'll be able to,
Continue.
yes, as Brian talks about the corporate side of things.
Yeah, quite crazy the corporate side of things. I can't believe they went that route. But you know, Steve Beck go ship.
So yeah, Munder's junked. Ferryman starts to like tell Dodge, he's like, "You want to fuck her, don't you?"
Yeah, that kind of came. That reveal came out of nowhere. He's like, "I'm not letting you out of my sight." He's got his gun pressed against him, and he's like, "Yeah, I need to like go into another room. I need to check on something." And he goes, "No, you're not leaving this room. Like, you're not leaving me." And he all of a sudden he just like takes a deep breath. He's like, "Oh, I get what's going on here. You're a cuck and you want to fuck her.
Yeah, literally.
You bitch. You dirty bitch." And he just shoots him. Doesn't he just shoot him?
He shoots
He
Ferryman.
shoots him, yeah.
He unloads on Ferryman.
He actually
without-
blows him away.
yeah, but then
Because he's on the ground and he just gives him like the little.
oh yeah, the eye wakes up. So then, Epps goes to check on Munder. She sees he has been grinded to pieces. Dodge shows up and Dodge is like, "Huh, let's get off the ship, me and you with the gold, and then we could fuck or something." And she's like, "That's kind of sus."
He's like, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
He goes, "We can't leave without the goal. I won't leave without the goal."
Yeah. He's like, "We could buy our own boat like we always planned." And she's like, "Dude, what are you talking about?"
But so now, like, this is kind of where like Epps gets the full the full view of
Yeah.
everything that happened on the boat, right? So it's like she finds out that the wire went across, killed everybody on the top ship. Then what I thought was the crew that came onto the ship after Ferryman is now like his band of demons, which is what I thought at the end of the movie when they're carrying the gold is that group again. The same people who were killing people.
I think it was her crew. We're going to find out. Someone's got to be right, or we're all just
we'll
wrong.
figure that one out. But then, like, so you see, like, all the people getting shot in the pool. You can see everybody getting mowed down in the hallways. And the one thing that I don't understand, so, like, everybody sins, and that's how they get marked on the boat, right? So Katie, who is obviously young, she's trying to get away. She's trying to run down the hallways. She gets pulled into a room by two of the crew members. Yeah. And so this is where I questioned, did she die and stay on the ship and get marked because they sinned with her?
No.
You see where I'm going with that?
No, I truly think, and I think it's just, she's not marked.
Yeah,
I think she's just trapped on the ship until the marked ones are taken out. Like, it's almost like a purgatory.
Yeah, she's just stuck there until like she's unmarked. I think he's like she's dead. She's unmarked. And I think she's just trapped there. She's the only unmarked one.
So the only thing that I was thinking was when they took her into the room, because they go behind closed doors, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, maybe they did something sick to her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they hung her, right?
Right. Well, that's what they end up showing. But I feel like they give you the vibe of like two guys
more worse
happening, and that was like a sin that they tried to force on her.
Oh, maybe.
And then the same thing with hanging her. It was like suicide is a sin, but
they hung her, so it's like
right. But that's also why
murder.
I think that like everybody else on the boat can be controlled by ferryman,
but not her.
Can't.
Like poison, they rat poisoned the ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they got like to the back. They had the crew. There's crew members also somewhat involved in this, and they all turned on each other.
Yo, it's crazy because the crew turns on the crew, that turns on the crew, that turns on all of the crew, and then Francesca shoots the guy in the head, who then gets turned on by ferryman in a fucking dapper suit.
Yeah, he was looking hot.
That's an interesting reveal.
Like, it's weird because, like, the crew is killing all the civilians, but then the other crew instantly turn on the other crew. I never actually was able to figure out whose side anyone was on.
No, you don't know.
No, and I think they were all, like, anybody who was doing any of the worst things was being taken over by the potential of that gold. I think.
That was fucking, the whole thing was sick. Yeah. Gold is the root of all evil. Basically what's going to happen now is, in the worst acting imaginable, Ferryman's going to explain the entire movie. It's bad. I love this guy. I love Desmond Harrington. He's great in Dexter. He's great in Wrong Turn. Him explaining this is so bad.
It's really
he talks
cringy.
in such a dumb, monotone voice.
Yeah, the whole time.
It's cringy.
Then he reveals that, he's working for corporate. He doesn't even get good insurance.
Literally, he was just like, if I don't hit he's like, I need to hit my quota for management. If I don't hit my quota, I got to bring in more bodies and more souls. He's like, I need to hit the quota or management. It's going to be pissed.
Yeah. It is pretty cringy.
Because he's the ferryman and he's getting all these souls that once he hits that quota, he's just zooming them back to hell.
Yep.
So the only way that she thinks to stop him from getting his quota is to blow up the ship.
Yes.
Using C4.
Yes.
What does he gain, though, when he gets the quota?
I would say better insurance.
Perpetual demon, maybe some time off.
promotion.
I don't know, PTO.
Maybe he becomes the management, and then he hires a new ferryman, and he gets a cushy desk job.
Okay. Maybe he plays golf 2 or 3 times a week.
I don't know how hell works. All I know is it literally sounds like America with the corporate structure.
Do you see how this, like...
Maybe it's a deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Do you see how this slow-moving hook just fucking takes this girl
It's
right
fucking
in the jaw?
wild. Yeah, so basically Epps and Ferryman are gonna have their back and forth. They're gonna fight over the detonator for the C4. She points a harpoon at him. He's like, kill me. What's that gonna do? I'm just gonna come back. She shoots the detonator, blows up the ship. He gets hit by a pipe and explodes, and she survives this.
So when this ship sinks, right? Because it goes full Titanic. Like it stands up in the water, it sinks straight down. She's floating on a trunk.
Yeah,
like,
she is basically
for
Rose.
who knows how long. Yeah, pretty much. And then she finally gets picked up by another ship. Where the hell did the gold go?
But they found it
Apparently.
because they're
How
going
did
to
they find
transport
it?
it to a new ship.
Unless it was just like floating around the ship. It's just like
Gold is heavy.
in boxes. I know it's very heavy.
That's another thing. They tossed this gold around throughout this movie, and Maria actually asked me. She was like, "Is gold light?" And I went, "No." So
Gold is extremely heavy.
The way they're just kind of like tossing it around, I'm like, that. I don't understand what they're doing here.
Yeah. But they're really strong. They're tugboat guys, though.
Yeah, that's right. They tug a lot.
They're basically Tugboat Willie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so if Brian, you could just get to the end real quick and we could wrap this up because I just want to see who is bringing the gold on. I'm going to even...
That's kind of important.
That's why I
at this
keep
point.
my glasses here.
You can't see with those on. They're so dirty.
They are. I was just going to
You're
clean
such a
them.
dirty
They
boy.
were very dirty. Here we go. Oh,
Oh,
back the other way a
okay.
little
Yep.
bit.
That's the credits. All right.
Yeah, right.
Elizabeth
no,
Fudd.
forward. It's like when she's laying in...
Right there,
Right
yeah.
there. That's perfect.
Yeah. So she gets picked up by another
Yeah,
liner.
So someone put the mud vein on.
Yeah.
Because she's going to get in this ambulance, and then she's going to see people. It's right here. So if I remember right, she's getting taken off the ship first. It's as soon as she gets put in the ambulance, she'll see people bringing up the gold. And I swear to God, if it's not her crew, it is a crew of people identical to her crew. Like, maybe I fucking passed out. I don't know.
When she blows up the ship and she's kind of floating in the water and she sees all the souls being released to
Oh,
go
we
to
even
heaven.
mentioned that. Oh, wait, okay. So wait, there's
No.
going to be a point where there's like a small Spanish guy. There's going to be like a black guy. There's going to be a guy with blonde hair. Okay, so it's not her actual crew. See, there's a black guy now. That's Dodge. That's Greer. I'm telling you, they cast everyone. No, yeah.
That's Dodge.
And then he
fair
shows up. I'm telling you, it looked like her crew. It's not. They're different actors, but I felt like they were supposed to be like doppelgangers.
Like the
for her crew.
typecast?
Yes.
Typecast salvage crew.
Because that guy, come on, how many people have blonde hair like that? Walking directly after a black guy. Like, it's her
that's racist.
crew. It's her crew.
Also, how fast did he get from that scene to already orchestrating the next
Which
Which is probably
one?
the same thing that happened with the other one too. Is like the ship goes down, he gets saved somehow, and immediately jumps onto another ship with the gold, and then just keep repeating this over
True,
and over.
because
and
he
over
probably brought those two guys who died
Right.
in laundry.
again. Yeah, that was wild.
What a review. Also, Deep Rising, another movie I want to do one day.
Is it good? I've never seen it.
It's a fun one. It's a fun one. All right. So I'll give my review. This movie, despite its flaws, is kind of like peak cinema in O2 area. Like
Is that
this,
what we're calling it?
like this is like up there as like some of the hard hitting greats that you got in like the early 2000s with like maybe like 13 Ghosts or something like that. So I think, minus like Desmond Harrington's acting towards the end and a few loose plot holes, I could safely say this movie is a strong 6.
Okay.
Because I thought about 13 Ghosts, right? And I gave 13 Ghosts a 6. And I don't think in good faith, because of Matthew Lillard's performance in 13 Ghosts, I could give this movie a higher number. So I'm going to put them both at an even keel 6.
Okay.
And now we'll go to Brian.
Well, the movie does fit comfortably into the early 2000s because that's the feel that it gives, especially with the horrific CGI of the ships. But to be honest, it seemed like what to be an intriguing ghost story. In all fairness, the characters were somewhat interesting. I do believe the ghost bringing them out could have been executed better based on the more sinful behavior, making that clear and a stronger point of this movie, because that's the biggest piece, is to make sure that they're all sinful, then can be killed and marked for when his big payday comes. The whole idea of this corporate management system for a ferryman, which is a piece of Greek mythology, is retarded in and of itself. The whole idea was so stupid. It was funny because how corny it was when he's like, management's not going to be happy. Who's management? Is it the devil? Like,
I took it as
is
the
there
devil.
a demon
That's what I thought,
council? Like, what is that? Is there like an elder, a demon that
The
he
American
reports into?
government? Who is it?
So yeah, for me, it's a 5. It's like a missed opportunity movie. That wasn't the worst, but it definitely could have been better.
Oh, so I actually expected you to have a lower number.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it was not as bad as some of the other ones that we've all reviewed together, but
I mean,
like I said, I gave 13 Ghosts actually a 6. The problem with 13 Ghosts was they had set a movie up really well and talked about nobody's backstories.
Yeah.
So this movie is just more or less like it had a good conceptually was decent, but I feel like that last payoff and Desmond Harrington's reveal at the end was just, number one, really painfully obvious. Number two, kind of dumb. So that's just why. I mean, but like it did have a decent concept. So.
all right. So I'm going to split the difference here. So I'm going to say the number right off the bat. I actually gave it a 6.
Okay.
And despite how much I crapped on this movie, I actually did like it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
The first 30 minutes of this movie is unnecessary, and they could have used that 30 minutes to explain not only like the ferryman's whole plot and more ghost stuff, but like I think I'm the opposite of Brian, where when I found out why he was doing all this stuff and like how he was doing it, I actually kind of liked it more.
He likes corporate.
His name is Ferryman.
The corporate thing was stupid. So, but the fact that like he was using the ship to gather souls and like whatever, but how they killed everybody on the ship originally and how they took over the ship, I kind of liked it.
I love it.
So the storyline of like the chain of events of everybody like killing each other
Just for the gold.
was literally ridiculous. But because like it is gold, but like so like everybody on the ship either had to be pre-planned to kill them or were just motivated by ghosts on that ship that were not shown to us at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or they just killed each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
People do crazy things
They
for
do.
riches.
They do.
Shane, you'd kill people for gold.
No.
I don't believe that for a second.
Speaking of me gold.
Oh my god.
Hey, but first we got to talk about a little Necronomicon. We have no shortage of people. We have people getting shot in a pool. We have people getting stabbed. I actually can't believe the one I'm going to say that is my favorite kill, and I want to put in the Necronomicon, is Francesca with the fucking hook in her throat.
I agree 100%.
Me too, actually.
Aligned.
Yep, absolutely.
Because that didn't make any sense to me, but it was gruesome.
But the swing of the hook was
The
awesome.
light swing of the hook that would do absolutely zero damage to any human being.
Where it would usually
Absolutely.
just smack her in the side of the head and she'd be like, ow.
It was supposed to be this, yeah. It was supposed to be this big reveal of him just like dropping this hook that just comes and it just goes on this slow trajectory.
Oh, also the
He just
fact
smacked her.
because when you see how much hook is in there, there's a small blood pool that's
Yeah.
going. I feel like the blood would have been a lot more.
The way the swing came in so slow, it almost looks like she kind of just like leans into it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wait, it didn't hit me hard enough, and just like jams it in there.
Get in there. All right. So with that said, Francesca, mi amor, mi suppliano.
It's racist.
Oh, is it though? Is it though? I don't know what I'm saying, but what I will say is this. You had this sex appeal to you. Maybe the three of us didn't get it, but Greer got it. And everyone on the boat got it. And even the devil himself got it, the ferryman. You were the final piece. And I honestly feel like you organized this whole coup for the gold. And it just didn't work out for you because you never make deals with the devil because the devil always wins. It's the moral of the story here. Yeah. Welcome to the Necronomicon. We got plenty of places for you to sit.
That's naughty.
I know. Well, think of the people we've put in this Necronomicon now.
Dogs.
Dogs,
Signs.
radios, tits.
Tits.
I mean, I'm pretty sure some people have appeared more than once. So, Mike, I would say it was nice having you on, but
Never is.
yeah, we're also going to have you on next week because, of course, we all know what time of the year it is. It's St. Patty's Day, and we need to talk Leprechaun 3. We're going to Vegas, boys.
And that's the town of me gold.
Yes, it is. So much me gold in that town. So much me gold. Sometimes only one piece of me gold is enough.
Yeah. It's Vegas, where dreams come true, especially if you have one coin and you can wish for something. So, with that said, we are the final podcast signing off, and we will see you next week in me Vegas town. That was my Irish accent.
That's racist.
No, it's not.
www.thefinalpodcast.com. New episodes every Monday of this show and of the Bogart show on Fridays. It's Final Fridays for the low budget nonsense. Mike, it was a pleasure having you. I'm so thankful that we're done with Ghost Ship and we're done with 13 Ghosts and we can bury these early 2000s Stephen Beck movies finally. So happy to enter, like I said, we have so many bangers come up, and I'm really happy to enter St. Paddy's Day strong with Leprechaun 3. It is my favorite Leprechaun movie after all, so looking forward to that. We'll see you next week.